What if I told you that sometimes jacking up the price of a product could actually make people want to buy more of it? I know, it sounds completely backward. It's like it breaks a fundamental law of economics. Because, well, it does. Today, we're going to dive into the strange and fascinating times when the law of demand gets totally turned on its head. So let's kick things off with a question that seems super obvious. Does a higher price always mean people buy less of something? You'd think so, right? But the answer is surprisingly no. And the reasons why tell us a whole lot about what's really going on in our heads when we make decisions about money. Okay, first things first, the golden rule of price. Before we can talk about breaking the law, we've got to understand the law itself, right? And trust me, this is the one that pretty much runs the show for every single purchase you make. So here it is, the official definition, the law of demand. Basically, when the price of something goes up, the number of people who want it goes down. Seems simple. But here's the catch, that little phrase, all else being equal. That's a huge assumption because as we're about to see, things are almost never equal. Yep, this is the core logic we all live by. Price goes up, demand goes down. You see it every single day at the grocery store, at the gas pump. It's just economic common sense. But what happens when that common sense completely fails? And that's where things get really weird. Welcome to the paradox of a price hike. There are some very specific situations where making something more expensive actually makes people want it more. It sounds totally impossible, but it is a fascinating and very real part of our economy. Okay, so these paradoxes really come from two totally opposite places, pure need and pure status. On one side, you have Giffen Goods. Now picture this, you're on a super tight budget and rice is the cheapest food you can buy. If the price of rice goes up a little bit, you suddenly can't afford any of the more expensive stuff like meat. So what do you do to get enough calories? You have to buy even more of the now pricier rice. On the complete flip side, you've got Veblen Goods. We're talking luxury here, designer watches, high-end cars. For these items, the ridiculously high price is the whole point. A price hike just makes it feel even more exclusive, a bigger status symbol, which makes the people who can afford it want it even more. So it's not always just about the type of product. Sometimes the rules get thrown out the window just because of what's going on inside our own heads. This is where human psychology crashes the economics party. You know, our decisions aren't always about the price tag right in front of us. I mean, think about it. If you hear gas prices are about to skyrocket, what do? You rush out and fill your tank today, right? Or sometimes we're just, well, ignorant. We just don't know there are cheaper options out there. And for stuff you absolutely need, like life-saving medicine, price almost becomes irrelevant. And as we've all seen, when an emergency hits, rational economic behavior just goes right out the window. A crisis really shows you the raw power of fear. The moment uncertainty takes over, all that normal economic logic just evaporates. Our survival instinct completely overrides our sensitivity to price. We stop asking, how much does this cost? And we start asking, how much of it can I possibly get? So, after hearing all of these crazy exceptions, you might be sitting there thinking, wait a minute, is the law of demand even a real thing at all? And that's a fair question, but it's really important to put all this back into perspective. Look, the truth is, these cases are the exception, not the rule. Giffen Goods are incredibly rare in the real world. Most of us aren't buying Veblen Goods every day. And while panic buying happens, it isn't our normal state of being. For the vast, vast majority of things we buy, the law of demand holds strong. These exceptions don't prove the rule is wrong, they just reveal the complex and, let's be honest, sometimes totally irrational forces that guide our choices. So, the next time you make a purchase, just take a second to think. Are you being driven by the price, by a genuine need, by a desire for status, or maybe even a little bit of panic? Every single transaction we make is part of a bigger story about who we are and what we value. Your spending is a story. So, what story are you telling?